From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a nice day and evening. Roof open here at Miller Park. We're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. The Cubs and Brewers open up a weekend set. And we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. We are refreshed after an off day yesterday. Along with Jim DeShays, I'm Len Casper. This is Game 8 of a 10-game, 11-day trip. And let's talk about the California part of the journey. Cubs went 3-4.
Starting in Southern California in San Diego, a 4-game weekend set. They split those 4 ball games. Didn't do a lot of hitting. The pitching was really good. Then on to San Francisco. They won 1 there. Noteworthy because it was Jeff Samardzij's first win. Nate Schierholtz hit his first home run, but not a lot going on offensively. Shut out the last 2 ball games against the Giants.
Yeah, the Cubs have not scored now in their last 20 innings offensively at the plate. No Anthony Rizzo tonight. He gets his first game off, although we could see him as a pinch hitter late. Cubs have won 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams, which is a bit of a switch.
Yeah, they dropped 2 out of 3 here at Miller Park, won 2 out of 3 at Wrigley. So 3 out of the last 4 they've won against the Brewers. Last 2-3 years they've had very little success against this Brewer ball club, especially here in Milwaukee. Just 7-24 against Milwaukee the last 2 or 3 seasons.
And the Brewers have made some lineup changes. Gene Segura now leading off, Carlos Gomez cleaning up, and Ryan Braun has been hitting second in their lineup. We'll tell you about who the Brewers offense will face. We'll get to the starting pitchers when we come back to Milwaukee. Third best earned run average in the month of May, which of course will end tomorrow. Travis Wood goes for consecutive win number 4. Brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Welcome back to Milwaukee. The Cubs staff has pitched to the 3rd best earned run average in the month of May, which of course will end tomorrow. Travis Wood goes for consecutive win number 4.
Yeah, 4-1 for Travis Wood here in the month of May. Recent starts, he's been quite sharp. 3-0 with a 354 last time out against San Diego was really good. The prior start was against this Brewer team, and he went 7 innings, allowed just 2 hits and 2 runs. So back on the beam for Travis Wood as he takes the bump here tonight against the Brewers.
Marco Estrada will be change-up city tonight. His last outing against the Cubs was his first career loss versus Chicago.
Real good change-up, way better against left-handed hitters than right. That's peculiar because he's a right-hander. He's an extreme fly ball pitcher. He's allowed 16 home runs. That's the most in the major leagues.
Wellington Castillo excited to face him. 4 of his 19 career home runs have come off Estrada. Well, gorgeous near the lake today as the Cubs and Brewers will get this weekend started. We'll have the first pitch and all the action next. Live sports. Nice night. Good to have the roof open here in Milwaukee. And let's check in on the umpires.
Check one. Check one. I'm just doing that to freak them out in the truck to make them think there's an audio problem.
That's nice. Jordan Baker will call balls and strikes. Angel Campos at first. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, at second. And Paul Emmel will handle third.
Hey, so this is kind of fun. This is Travis Wood and Marco Estrada's third time to hook up this year. They've each won one. And there's the mirror image. They've each worked 12 2/3 against the opponent. The pitch to a 4.97 ERA. It is really freaky. I bet you there's a full moon out there tonight.
Estrada looks happier about it than Travis does. Well, you mentioned it. It has been a tough go for the Cubs against the Brewers. Their last 31 games in this ballpark, the Cubs have gone 7-24. They have not won an overall season series since 2010. But 3-3 so far here in 2014. Now the Cubs lineup brought to you by Mazda and the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Bonifacio Lake, Valbuena in the 3 spot with Anthony Rizzo getting his first game off. Starlin Castro may get a day off on Sunday as well, as the Cubs are off again on Monday. Ruggiano at left, Castillo the catcher, Nate Schierholtz in right, Mike Olt at first, and Travis Wood hits ninth.
Brewers in the field. Davis, Gomez, Braun in the outfield. Gomez about as good as they come in center field. Infield third to first is Reynolds, Segura, Weeks, and Lucroy. Lucroy's made a handful of starts over there at first base. Now that means Martin Maldonado gets the assignment behind the plate. First time this year that he has caught a start by 30-year-old right-hander Marco Estrada. 4-2 with a 3.98 through 10 starts so far. As Len mentioned in the open, just one loss to the Cubs. That came last time out. Overall 5-1 with a 3.08 in 8 starts against Chicago. His whip is solid. OPS a little higher than he would like. He's an extreme fly ball pitcher, the most extreme fly ball pitcher in the National League. Strikeout rate good, walk rate good. Batting average against just .236. So the really downside when you talk about Estrada statistically is the long balls. Obviously a byproduct of being a fly ball pitcher, but way too many have left the ballpark against him this year.
Room temperature, no humidity, And yeah, it's about time. We will hit June by weekend's end. Estrada had a really good first month at 287 in April, but 5.16 so far in May, and this will be his final start of the month. The third baseman Reynolds is in on the grass at third, and a strike called on Bonifacio to get us started.
Fastball will sit right around 87, 88 miles an hour. He throws his changeup 28% of the time, which is right at the top of the league in terms of changeup usage. And he also has a curveball. He's the kind of guy that a switch hitter might contemplate turning around and facing from the right side because of that changeup.
Sometimes switch hitters will bat right-handed against a knuckleballer. Swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball to start the game.
Yeah, when you look at the numbers, it would be justified. Now, that's easier said than done. If you're a switch hitter and you haven't faced a right-handed pitcher from the right side in a good long while, it's going to be a very peculiar look. But the numbers would justify it. Left-handed hitters, there you go. .56. On base of 236 and a 375 slugging. Right-handed hitters have an OPS well up over 900 against them. The right-handed hitters are pretty much performing at an all-star caliber against Estrada.
At the knees on Junior Lake. He struggled in the first month, but hitting 300 here in May.
This should be a good matchup for Junior, because Estrada doesn't have that wipeout slider that Junior's had a hard time with, and he likes to work up in the zone with his fastball. That suits Junior well.
Here's the 0-2. Man, Estrada, 6 pitches, all strikes.
Elevated fastball up above the hands. A swing and a miss from Junior Lake. Estrada in that start in Chicago 2 starts ago. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, a couple of walks. He allowed 2 home runs in that ball game.
Born in Sonora, Mexico, grew up in Southern California, and went on to Long Beach State. I was going to say he matriculated in Long Beach State, but it's early. Usually wait till the middle innings to drop words like that. Bounced foul, and he's trying to do something that doesn't happen a lot, and that is 9 pitches and 9 strikes to go 1-2-3. Valbuena will try to spoil that. They're going to go up again. Worked the first 2 times, not that time.
Yeah, you got to get a little closer to get Valbuena to chase. He's one of the more disciplined hitters on the Cubs. Well, probably the most, he and Rizzo. Seeing it well, swinging it well of late.
How do you like the tapioca pudding look for the Brewers?
That's
a little different. Outside. And it's 2-2. Castro on deck.
Is this a throwback, or is it just
no, this is their alternate.
Just an alternate.
Yep.
Just shake it up a little bit.
In the air, not deep. And Gomez will make the catch. Estrada impressive here in the first inning. Brewers coming up against that man, Travis Wood. Brewers lineup, Gene Segura now leading off. Ryan Braun hitting second. They've been red hot here the last week plus after a cold spell. Lucroy playing first, batting third. Gomez goes from first to fourth in the lineup. Chris Davis has homered in 3 straight. Ricky Weeks gets the start against the lefty. Mark Reynolds in for Aramis Ramirez, who may be back from the DL as early as Tuesday. And the battery, Maldonado and Estrada.
For the Cubs in the field, Lakes in center, Schierholtz on one side, Ruggiano the other. Valbuena, Castro, Bonifacio, and Mike Oltz. Third to first tonight. Oltz has played a few games at first base in his career, but not a ton of experience over there. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for 27-year-old left-hander Travis Wood, 5-4 with a 4.35 through 10 starts. Take a look at the next level on Travis. Strikeout rate right at league average. Walk rate tad bit better. OPS against solid. Boy, especially against lefties. He has just slammed the door on left-handed hitters this year.
That deflects off of Wood's glove. Picked up by Valbuena and late. Segura beats it. Infield hit.
Wood, a very good athlete, really swings the bat and fields his position well. He's frustrated with himself for not picking that, but that ball was sharply hit. Leadoff knock for Segura. 10 steals. He's been caught 6 times.
Here's Ryan Braun. He's hit second the last 5 games, and he has 10 hits during this stretch. Prior to this season, he had hit third exclusively since late 2010. And he takes a strike.
Well, because Jonathan Lucroy has been so good and Carlos Gomez, that allows Ron Renicky to slide Braun up in the batting order a little bit. So you have that great on-base presence in the 2-hole.
Brewers with a
matter a whole lot.
No, probably not. 3-game lead over St. Louis. Starting play tonight. Driven deep, right center. Schierholtz back on it, and I think it's gone. A 2-run homer for Braun. 2 batters in. It's 2-0. That's his 8th.
And he's always been good this way, driving that ball the other way. Tremendous off-field stroke.
Yeah, so it hit the padding, then the back wall, which is behind the front barrier. It came back onto the field.
Coming into this start, Travis Wood had allowed only 2 first-inning runs all year. He's typically really good at the start of the ball game.
Braun had been tied with Jeff Jenkins on the Brewers all-time RBI list. Now has sole possession. Still only about halfway to Robin Yount. 706 career RBIs. He's actually 700 right on the button behind Milwaukee's all-time leader. One and one on Lucroy. And when we saw the Brewers recently at Wrigley Field, they were scuffling, not scoring a lot of runs. As quickly as that changed, they've maintained their torrid pace here, averaging about 6 runs a game over the past week plus. What's the old adage? It's not who you play, it's when you play them.
Yeah,
and, we see the Brewers a lot, obviously, but it was a good time to see them in mid-May. Now, not so much.
They got their mojo back. Good pitch.
Called strike 3. First out of the inning.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting, they've been able to hang on to this first place lead. The Cardinals have made a little move on them, but they've had some injuries. Braun's missed time. Ramirez is still on the disabled list. Carlos Gomez was out, suspended, missed a few games. Ron Renneke has not had his opening day lineup together very often. Getting contributions now from rookie Weeks. Mark Reynolds supplying a lot of power. This guy has blossomed into one of the best in the game.
We did not see him at Wrigley Field earlier this month. Finishing up a suspension and then scratched with lower back tightness and then a stomach illness. Almost hit him.
Travis, like Estrada, not an overpowering guy. Whereas Estrada relies so heavily on his changeup, with Travis, it's the cut fastball that is his go-to pitch. Throw it up and in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. He'll backdoor it.
Ball 4. You can send us an email at LennonJD@Tribune.com. You can also tweet us your Cubs selfies at hashtag WGN Cubs. Everybody dance. Got the disco ball up in the visiting booth here at Miller Park.
Raise the roof, but it's already open.
Now Chris Davis, 3-game home run streak, 7-game hit streak. And the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Gomez has already stolen 10 this year, and we talk about guys looking hitterish. He always looks runnerish. That's a gapper, and Gomez might score. It's going to roll to the wall. Ed Cedars telling him keep on running, and it's an RBI double for Davis. Tell you, there aren't too many guys in the league who go first to home faster than Carlos Gomez. That's almost a gimme if the ball goes to the wall.
Yeah, he's a tailback in the open field. He can get after it. He can really fly. And another good swing. Davis, like Braun, going the other way, driving that ball this time into the alley instead of over the wall, but it's good enough to get Gomez home. A rare first inning ambush against Travis Wood.
Already 3-0, and now Ricky Weeks. Hasn't done much against Wood. 3 out of 24, but 2 of those hits have been home runs. Ball 1.
Well, maybe time for Travis to start flipping up that slow curveball early. Try to get ahead of the hitters with that breaking pitch. Saw Jake Arrieta make that adjustment in his last start. Not so much because the fastball was getting hit, but because he wasn't getting it called down around the knees.
Meanwhile, the Cubs offense has not plated a run in the last 21 innings. Really don't want to let this one get away too early. 1-2. Count is even.
There's that note, just 2 runs. His previous 10 starts in the first inning, 3 tonight.
Foul. Just foul. It was a rocket off the bat of Weeks.
Good call by Paul Emmel, the third base umpire, with a little help from Luis Valbuena. Hooking line drive.
A glance at the runner. Another 2-2. Bounced up the middle. Base hit. Davis will score. And it's 4-0.
I think you got to find a way to dive for that ball for Starlin Castro. I don't think you can make a play on it, but you got to leave your feet to try to keep this ball in the infield. Mulligan time. Beats it in the dirt out in front of home plate. You got to lay out for that ball and at least knock it down, or at least try to. There's no harm in leaving your feet there, right? If you dive and it rolls under you, so be it. I mean, the result's going to be the same, but you got to be willing to leave your feet on that one.
So an early visit from the pitching coach, Chris Bosio. And now it's the guy with 12 home runs already.
You know, and just the way Starlin came out of that little huddle, I'm not so sure that that's not part of the message that Bosio delivered right there.
Now you make a great point. I mean, obviously it's a hit either way, but I'm trying to keep them from getting their 4th run. That missed. Ball 1.
Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire, we have not seen a lot of him, but it looks like he's going to be a little tight on that pitch down around the knees. And again, that's why maybe going to the breaking pitch, just kind of that get over curveball, maybe try to get the jump on these hitters and then expand.
One 0. Now 2 balls, no strikes.
Big time power from Mark Reynolds. Swings and misses a whole bunch. You talk about a deep lineup when you got a guy in the 7 hole with 12 bombs and 25 driven in. That's pretty impressive.
.214 career homers for Reynolds. Takes the 3-0 for a strike, 3-1. He had 44 back in 09. And he struck out 223 times, setting the record.
It's a man who knows his game. He is not going to pull out the hybrid. He's pulling out the driver on every hole.
3-2.
I'm not worried about hitting the fairway. Let's see how far I can hit it.
It's 3 of the top 6 strikeout seasons in baseball history.
He's like the John Daly of baseball.
Good call. Without the weird pants.
Exactly.
And Wood comes back and strikes him out after starting 3-0. Both outs have been punch outs. And They bring up the 8-hitter, Martin Maldonado.
Well, regroup time for Travis Wood, and he's such a tough-minded competitor. You like his chances. Other guys get knocked around like this early, you think, yeah, you're probably going to be out of here pretty quickly. But Wood, the type of guy, kind of find something, he may be able to hang in this ball game.
Well, Maldonado with his first at bat, he's probably thinking that's why Ron Rennecke's got to put me in the lineup more often. The Brewers are 10-1 in his starts. He hit the ball so hard on April 18th, he literally knocked the cover off it. That ended up being a base hit.
I love Alvarez. He looks at it and not sure what I should do with it. Well, I'll get it headed in the right direction and see what happens.
Big League Baseball completely unraveling. What if that happened in Game 7 of the World Series?
Yeah. Did we ever get an explanation as to why that happened? Because there was somebody else hit a ball this year too with it, who tore the cover off of it.
Just a bad batch of balls. I don't know. Got a bad thread epidemic.
Yeah.
Maldonado had to sit out 5 games for his role in a brawl in Pittsburgh 2 days after that video we just showed you. And the 0-2. Driven out into right center again. Boy, all these opposite field extra base hits. Weeks lost his helmet. On his way to the plate, he will score. Maldonado with a double, and it's 5-0.
Boy, how about the approach by these Brewer hitters here this evening? Wow. Outside edge up a little bit. That allows Maldonado to stay on plane and whack this one. Seen way too much of the bats of Schierholtz and Lake here in the first inning.
Cedar's arms are getting tired. They've been waving them around the whole inning. Now the pitcher Estrada with a 5-0 lead. Well, I think you've said this before. When the pitcher bats in the first inning, he's telling himself, "I've won the game."
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, he got five in the first. I feel like that's a W.
And he was able to check.
You see how he performs under the burden of expectation. Not only are you thinking it is my job to win, but also to pitch deep into this game now.
"35 pitches already." Cubs with some roster moves today. Pedro Strop activated. Wesley Wright back from the paternity leave list. Hector Rondon goes to the paternity list, and Blake Parker option to AAA Iowa.
3 punch-outs.
3 strikeouts, yeah, and a lot of runs. Institute. As we mentioned, hard-throwing Pedro Strop missing a little less than a month with a groin sprain. He's now back in the Cubs bullpen, and congratulations to the Wrights, welcoming their second child, daughter Harlem Rose Wright. So Wesley is back. Hector Rondon goes to the paternity list. Blake Parker option to Iowa. Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, helping you move better so you could live better. Visit IBJI.com. "36 pitches, 5 runs." And Travis Wood in the first inning. And congrats to the Bashams. Bobby, the Cubs assistant director of advanced scouting and Major League strategy, he and his wife welcomed their first child recently. Audrey,
yeah. Congratulations. The population of Chicago is swelling with all these Cub births.
So Estrada now with the big cushion, and a strike called on Starlin Castro.
Estrada set the tone early, pounding the strike zone with his fastball in the first.
We also want to congratulate proud new parents Tony and Lauren Sirocco. Samuel Anthony, born last night just before 10 o'clock. Way inside. 2-1.
Estrada was paying attention to what the Brewer hitters were doing in the bottom half of the first, and he's probably thinking, well, I got to make sure I do my work inside, because Brewers were pinging the ball the other way. Travis right now is like a fighter that went out in the first round and just took 3 right on the jaw. He's in the corner trying to regroup.
Castro thought it was ball 4. He takes a long walk, getting ready for a 3-2. There is ball 4.
Nice homestand. The Mets and Marlins come into town, and we're celebrating the 40s decade. The festivities include music, food, and giveaways that mirror the 1940s. For more information about the year-long celebration, visit WrigleyField100.com. Tickets are available for every game, so visit Cubs.com to purchase your seats today. The Mets and those surprising fish.
Miami tied for first with the Braves going into action tonight. Justin Ruggiano. It's a towering fly out toward Ryan Braun and right. 1 away. Now Wellington Castillo. How about this matchup? He has 19 home runs in his entire career, and 4 of them have been off Marco Estrada. In fact, he has not hit more than 1 off any other pitcher. You know that he knows that. You know that Estrada is well aware.
Once, sometimes you're not fully familiar with the player's numbers against you, but when a guy's taking you deep 4 times and just that many at bats, you're aware of it.
Curve for a strike. From the windup, Estrada, it's pretty interesting. It's almost like he's got a string tied to his glove. It pulls his kick leg up. It's not quite as exaggerated from the stretch. Bounced foul.
Tries to shorten that stride a little bit from the stretch position, but not particularly quick to the plate with that delivery. Of course, he probably feels like unlikely the Cubs are going to run down 5. Castillo clearly has his full attention given what he's done against him in his career. He'll try to throw a high fastball here.
Estrada won his first 5 career decisions versus the Cubs before losing at Wrigley Field on May 18th. It was 2 starts ago. He gave up 4 runs in 5 innings, 2 homers in that game. Gave up 4 his last time out in a win at Miami. Another 0-2. Golfed in the air center field. Gomez coming in. Segura going out. The shortstop makes the grab.
Heck of a play there by Segura. Great concentration. Especially with Gomez being the center fielder, because you just know the way he plays. He's so reckless. You know, there's a pretty good chance you might draw a charge here. He stays with the play and makes a nice catch.
Yeah, you saw Gomez's first move was kind of leaning back, and so he was pretty much out of the play. Two down. Castro still at first after the leadoff walk, and it's Nate Schierholtz. Breaking ball, strike. First homer of the season. He hit on Monday in San Francisco. There's the change. 0-2. This could be a backwards at bat in terms of Estrada's pitch selection. Curveball, changeup, and could go with that high fastball here. Another changeup. Foul pop up. Lucroy has room and he makes the catch. That'll be strange. He doesn't have to discard his mask. 5-0.
The game along with Rick Renteria, pictured there, not happy. Log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you watch from home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
Well, take two. Second time through the order. The first time did not go well. Wood really struggled locating pretty much everything, and the Brewers hammered him for 5 runs. It was the 1-1 to Segura. Fouled away. Keep an eye on everything else around baseball. The Cardinals hosting the Giants this weekend. Giants a winner last night. Jam shot roller to Alt, who takes it to the bag on his sister. 1-0 San Francisco tonight as they play the second inning. Bumgarner and Wainwright. Great matchup.
Tough night to be a hitter. Well, good job there getting in on the hands of Segura, and that's something he needed to do. He was out in the middle away from most of his right-handed hitters. He has to reestablish inside part of the plate and beyond.
Braun with an opposite field 2-run homer his first time.
The road has not been kind to Travis Wood. His ERA 4 runs higher on the road, 4+ higher on the road than home. There's the Braun home run after the Segura infield hit.
Number 8 on the season. 2 balls and a strike. Nice crowd tonight. A little shy of a sellout. Probably in the low to mid 30s. Roof is open. Should be a nice weekend. Late afternoon tomorrow, and then early afternoon game on Sunday right here on WGN. 2-2.
Travis 2.43 ERA at Wrigley. 6.59 on the road. And that bad one against the White Sox back on May 7th, he allowed 8 earned runs in 4 innings of work in that one. Obviously that contributing a great deal to that high road ERA, and this tonight won't help unless he finds a way to pitch deep into this ball game, which is unlikely but possible. The fact that he's a good hitter, you might stay with him a little longer than somebody else in a given situation. You might let him take an at bat and stay in the ball game.
Well, he'll continue to compete, whether he has this good stuff or not. The 3-2 driven into the corner, foul.
And that's why Ryan Braun is one of the best hitters in the game. We saw him take the ball deep the other way first time up. Now he's able to yank one with authority down the left field line. So much of hitting is not necessarily straight up guesswork, but hitters play hunches. They look in zones, they anticipate. And it looked like he was looking middle in there.
And the base hit. Lake will come over to cut it off. And Braun is going to hold with a single.
They just missed hitting for the cycle the other day. Where were they? In Miami, maybe? He was locked in.
Now Lucroy 1 on and 1 out. And a ground ball, diving stop, Castro. It'll be a hit for Lucroy.
Pinching towards second base, playing for a double play. Cost him a little bit of range towards the hole. Good effort here by Castro. And this time he does lay out for it. I don't know if he would have had a play on Braun had he gloved it or not.
By the way, the 2 for 2 tonight for Braun. He is now 29 for his last 58 against the Cubs. That is a .500 batting average over his last 15 games. Slugging over .900. Another base hit. Braun sent by Ed Cedar. The throw will go toward third. And it's 6-0. 3 consecutive 1-out singles.
Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. And tonight Travis Wood is the bug.
Gomez has hit now 10 in a row.
Not a good feeling throwing it and ducking and backing up bases and scratching your head and wondering what is going on out here.
Eight hits for Milwaukee. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically 5 of those 8 hits have gone to center or to the right of center. All off the bats of right-handed hitters.
Nothing cheap either. They've all been hit hard.
Time called. And in fact, the catcher Castillo asked for it. The long man is Carlos Villanueva. Doesn't take him too long to get loose. See if they can turn 2 here. They do. So Wood gets out of it with a 6-4-3, but they add on. It's now 6-0 after 2. Wrigley 100 moment. May 31st, 2003, bottom of the 16th. Sammy Sosa ends the game as the Cubs beat the Astros 1-0. So scoreless into the 16th. That was the deepest a game had ever gone at Wrigley Field without a run. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Sammy, up until that point, was 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts.
It's a redemption,
yeah. That's how you go. Punch out 5 times in a game and you still get a gold star. A game-winning knock. Zambrano and Oswalt were the starting pitchers. 7 shutout for Oswalt. 8 for Zambrano. Pretty good battles between those two clubs back in the day.
One ball, one strike on Mike Alt. In for Anthony Rizzo at first. And batting 8th tonight.
Talked about the reverse splits for Estrada. Really good against left-handed hitters this year, but righties have worn him out. And you know that changeup that he throws to lefties has very good command with the arm side with that changeup down and away to the left-handed hitters. But that's a much tougher pitch to execute if you're trying to go away to a right-handed hitter with the changeup.
Leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Travis Wood.
Yeah, that under the category of bad pitching there. Leadoff walks in each of the last 2 innings with a 5-run lead and now a 6-run lead.
Well, you mentioned it. Wood can hit, so maybe he can help himself here, trying to get his team somewhat back in the ball game.
That's what he had in mind. Going well for him out on the mound, hoping to contribute with the bat.
Normally this would be a bunting spot for the pitcher, but at this point we'll let him take his hacks. Slowed down by Estrada, and everybody's going to be safe. I think he got a hand on it. And then Segura tried to bare hand. He couldn't make the play. And the Cubs have their first hit. 2 on, nobody out.
If you're going to get back in it, you got to take advantage of these opportunities. Slowly hit. Yeah, if he leaves it alone, I don't know that he gets 2, but he probably gets 1. But he takes a little pace off of it. Segura has to try to make a barehanded play as well. And the ball hit with that kind of a pace back through the middle of the diamond as a pitcher just let it go. Big break for the Cubs.
Bonifacio with a ground ball. Weeks has it go off his glove. The Cubs will get their first run. Wood will move to third as Alt scores. It's 6-1 and still nobody out. Snap their 22-inning scoreless streak.
Well, the Brewers are getting close. Last ball off 2 hands, this time off the glove of Ricky Weeks. Looked like it hit him more towards the heel of his glove, or maybe even his wrist. Estrada, as we mentioned, has allowed more home runs than any pitcher in Major League Baseball this year.
Now you try to get greedy. I'd like to think Wood should be a shoo-in to score here this inning. Cubs have bigger plans in mind. Get him home as Reynolds throws to second just in time, apparently, to get a sliding Bonifacio. So that would be an RBI fielder's choice for late.
Looking at it in the Cubs dugout, Renteria debating whether to come out and ask for a review. Let's see. Well, I think they got it right.
Pretty close, but would be tough to overturn. So 6-2 now, and it's Valbuena with Lake at first. Basically, the Cubs are scoring a couple of runs without hitting a ball out of the infield. And obviously, Travis has to pitch better to stay in this game, but that's the value of having a pitcher who can handle the bat. Fair ball. I think a fan interfered with it. And it'll be a double for Valbuena. Second and third for Castro.
Jonathan LaCroix has not played a lot of first base. In the last two plays, he's been in the way of the base runner making the turn. First at Bonifacio, now here at Valbuena. Didn't really impact the play, but something worth keeping an eye on. Yarakinski's, that's the conversation he's having with Angel Campos. Hey, he's getting away my guy down here.
Three hits in the inning, and they're going to play the infield back. Concede the run just to get that second out. So contact here is paramount for Castro, and he takes a strike. Generally, strikeouts are just outs, but not in this spot. Got to put the ball in play.
And now that's what you're looking for, a change in the approach. Sure, you'd like to hit one in the alley, drive in two, get yourself a knock, but you have to make contact.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Let the situation get the best of him. Too anxious.
It's a third strikeout, and I think they've all been on that high fastball for Estrada. Up to Ruggiano. Low for ball one. Well, the Cubs have gotten two here, but if they don't get more, they're going to be kicking themselves.
Well, I think Lake scores too if that fan interference doesn't shut him down.
I agree. Slicing drive into the corner, that's just out of play.
So, wizard of the rule book. Could the umpire not award him home plate there? Is that an automatic two bases, or could they not have? Could Ricky Renteria not have argued?
I think you can,
right?
But
can't they do? I mean, normally that's the default call.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. Let's see where Junior was. Yeah, I mean, he just he
rattling around out there.
Barely got in the second.
Yeah,
when the fan touched it.
Yeah, that's the right call, probably.
Estrada's 2-2, and Ruggiano just got a piece of that high heat. Missed by much. It's full 3-2. Castillo on deck, and you know Estrada does not want to face him with the bases loaded.
He is wanting to finish the deal right here with Ruggiano. Changeup's down, fastball's up.
Slow bouncer, handled by Reynolds. And the Cubs have to settle for 2. 6-2 in the third.
Playoffs, lots of baseball news, and Billy Butler jumps on the first pitch. Bautista's going to throw him out at first. He got him.
That is our speed replay brought to you by Xfinity. Jose Bautista turns a Billy Butler single into a 9-3 out. Blue Jays actually lost the game last night, snapping a 9-game winning streak, but what a play.
This team has done it all throughout.
Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Joey Bats, right fielders dream of doing that.
Beaten by Kansas City, the Royals have had a coaching shakeup. Former Cub manager Dale Swain is now their hitting coach. He was at third base prior to last night. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Well, Travis needs a clean inning here, doesn't he?
He does, for a lot of different reasons, just to kind of regain confidence and get these Brewer hitters back on their heels a little bit. Right now they're sharks circling in the water, and you smell blood, so he's got to kind of push them back a little bit. Good start, good curveball changeup combination to get started here with Weeks.
Another ball out toward the alley and down to the wall it goes, and Weeks loses his helmet again.
Now, unfortunately, there's this pesky little rule in baseball about 3 strikes, because the first 2 were really good, but third pitch was a hanging breaking ball. That's on me. He knows he didn't execute the pitch. It wasn't the selection, it was the execution.
Weeks 2 for 2.
And now the question for Ricky Renteria is, how long do you go with Travis, given that you've got Carlos Villanueva out there who can give you multiple innings, and your offense has shown some signs of life here by putting 2-spot up in the 3rd inning.
It does change things a little bit. You go from, well, we got to get through the 9 innings here with my pitching staff to how do I keep my team in the game?
You kind of want to reward your hitters. They came back, put 2 runs on the board.
Well, a 3rd one would have been nice. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
New in 2014 is the Cubs Authentic Wrigley Field 100 collection for game-used throwback jerseys and Wrigley Field 100 baseballs. To autographed items from your favorite alumni and Hall of Famers, Cubs Authentics has the most exclusive memorabilia to commemorate 100 years of Wrigley Field. Visit Cubs.com/authentics all season long for updates on the newest game-used and autographed items.
Maldonado bounces foul. He doubled home a run from the 8th spot in the 1st inning. Jose Bautista with a homer tonight, is 14th. They trailed the Royals again 4-1 in Toronto.
He's quite good.
He is very good. So is Encarnacion. There's a base hit for Maldonado. Weeks will be set. Should be a play at the plate. Safe. And Maldonado moves to second on the throw by Schierholtz. 7-2.
After the 1st inning, I made the reference to a boxing match where Travis had kind of taken one on the jaw there in the first round. Well, not getting a whole lot better, is it? You allowed just the 1 run in the 2nd, but the hard contact continues.
They had a shot at him.
Just the throws on line, they got a real shot at him. Just up the line a little bit.
9 straight games of at least 10 hits for Milwaukee. That ties a team record.
And they get there with 1 out in the 3rd.
Did it in 1983 and again in 2011. Backhanded play by Bonifacio. Nicely done to get Estrada. Maldonado at 3rd, now 2 outs.
Recent games against the Brewers, the Cubs have been able to shut them down for the most part, but this is more typical of what we've seen from this Brewer lineup the last couple of seasons.
That will be it for Travis Wood. All Milwaukee early, 7-2 in the 3rd. We'll be back. Friday, June 20th, after the Cubs play the Pirates, we'll have the Chicago Hot Stove All-Stars, and we will be honoring the great music history of Chicago, not just the band Chicago. We will be playing this song. We'll have horns, the whole deal. We got Tom Morello, Rage Against the Machine, Peter Gammons, Theo Epstein, Jimmy Chamberlain, John Sturrott, Scott Lucas, Eddie Roser, and many, many more. Friday night, June 20th. Go to metrochicago.com for tickets, all for charity.
Here comes Carlos Villanueva, 1-5 with a 7.33 on 11 games since moving back to the bullpen. His ERA has been quite good at $1.80 in 4 relief appearances since moving to the pen when Jake Arrieta joined the rotation. He picked up a save last time out in support of Arrieta, 3 innings against the Padres. He was on the first day of this road trip. A week ago yesterday, I believe.
The thing about using him for multiple innings, though, tonight is kind of like, well, you like having him there, knowing he's there, but you hate having to use him too much like this because it pretty much knocks him out of commission the rest of the weekend. So the Cubs have an off day Monday. That helps. You got Hamill and Samardzija the next 2 days. That helps. Guys you generally expect to go deep. Two and 0 on Segura. The pitch hit hard. Nice play by Valbuena. Gets up, throws, and the third out in the books. Milwaukee has scored in each of the first 3, and they lead 7-2. Schedule late afternoon ball on the CSN tomorrow, and then back on WGN Sunday 12:30 for the leadoff man. First pitch just after 1. Then the Mets come to town starting Tuesday night. Ford go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Great to see a former intern of ours, Ben Hutchison, who works at Channel 12 here in Milwaukee. He's done well for himself. Stopped by the booth tonight. Good to see him. 7-2 Milwaukee. Martin Maldonado from the 8th spot as a double, a single, and 2 RBIs. As the Brewers have already gotten into the Cubs bullpen. Here's Castillo to lead off the fourth. And he looks at a strike. And he looks at another one. 0-2. Popped him up. So trail over into foul territory. Lucroy has it.
Cub fans, this Thursday, June 5th, it's jersey off our back night at Wrigley. Don't miss the action. Mets are in town. It's a 6:05 start. Autographed game-worn jerseys will be awarded to lucky fans in random seats after the ball game. Compliments of Majestic, the official on-field uniform of Major League Baseball.
We have long had this discussion. Would you rather be a lucky fan in a random seat or a random fan in a lucky seat? Discuss.
Lucky seat. Hey, there's a guy on top of the ballpark. There's two guys up there. I've never seen that before. Speaking of random, way up on top of the ballpark. I don't know if we can get a shot of that. What are those guys doing?
I would imagine they're in the roofing business. That's a good catch. Broken back flare for a hit. Schierholtz is on. Why would you be looking that high up? I would never.
Because you asked me that very ponderous question,
and you looked,
and I tilted my chin up to rub my chin and gaze skyward to think about it, and I say, hey, there's a couple guys up there. In the off season, they should build a zip line across the top of the ballpark. That would be fun.
I guess they're setting up fireworks for after the game.
Probably not necessary for me to mention that Estrada leads the league in home runs given up every time the Cubs get a man on base.
Look out.
But if you're looking for a way to get back into this game, if you're a Cub fan, I mean, that's what you're pinning your hopes on. And here's Olt, the guy with legit power. He's hit 9 home runs. Yeah, Estrada's done a real nice job establishing inside, and he's a guy who doesn't use his fastball that much, but he set the tone early. Started the ball game, a lot of fastballs, and as we've moved along, he's mixed in more changeups and now more curveballs.
He was well aware of him. Third time he's already faced them this year. Back to last year, 7-2 with an ERA just over 3 over his last 19 starts.
Induces some funky swings with that changeup. 2022 in his major league career with a 4.15 as a starting pitcher. 19-16, 3.95 the ERA. So he's been better as a starter. Kind of a late bloomer. 30 years of age. This is basically his third year as a starting pitcher in the big leagues.
All pops. Lucroy will not have a play.
There's the challenge. It's not so much east to west. It's not a lot of stuff moving in and out of the strike zone, but it's the front and back, the off-speed nature of his game that really gets you off. His changeup is so good. You know, he'll catch you out on that front foot. And that fastball, he really has the knack of working it just at the top or a little bit above the top of the strike zone, where a hitter may be telling himself, stay back, don't get fooled. But then you see that fastball up and you want to jump at it, because when hitters see the ball well, they want to swing at it.
Alt came in just 1 for his last 20, walked and scored in the third. Good take, 3-2. We often talk about guys choking up on the bat. If you could choke down on the bat, I guess that's what Mike is doing. With as much leverage as he can with that piece of lumber. And got that bottom hand, you can't even see the knob.
Right off the knob, yep. Allows him to really throw the head of the bat.
Ball 4. Well, we have a moment. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Here at Miller Park, game 1 of 3 between these NL Central rivals. Len and JD and our WGN crew. Long road trip. Comes in the midst of a stretch of 20 of 26 away from Wrigley.
A lot of conversations taking place here between third base coach Gary Jones and Carlos, and then Reynolds talking with his pitcher. Whoop, should have bunted that one. Now, Brewers will be in straight bunt defense here. They've got a 5-run lead. They just want to make sure they get an out. The conversation between Jones and Villanueva could have gone one of 2 ways. One, hey, you're bunting all the way. Don't get giddy here. If you see somebody crashing, don't pull it back. We don't, double play kills us here. That could have been the message. Or if they trust that he can do some damage, if they are crashing aggressively, feel free to pull it back and take a whack. For me, the best play here is just get the bunt down and let Bonifacio try to drive into.
Reynolds will get the out at first. Successful sacrifice for Villanueva.
Oh, interesting. They crossed me up because they actually did have a wheel play on there. Segura busting over to cover third base. A little bit surprised by that.
Single, a walk, a sac bunt. Setting it up for Bonifacio. Fly ball to center. This should be routine for Gomez. It is. Cubs have got 5 on through 4. Trail 7-2. at WGNTV.com. Sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 36 years. Join the nation. Contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. All Brewers early on. 7-2 lead, and the damage done against the starter Travis Wood. His ERA after the 2 2/3 tonight, 5.15.
Yeah, he just got ambushed. They jumped him in the first inning, and it's not like they nickeled and dimed him. There weren't cheap hits. They were just squaring up a lot of balls. One of those deals where you have an off night, you're misfiring, not hitting your spots, and you're doing it against a very good club who's been swinging the bats really well of late. Kind of a perfect storm for a bad night. Travis Wood.
Brewers came in ranked 5th in the National League in runs. 1-1 to Braun. Lucroy and Gomez to follow. Will you stick a Ramirez into this lineup? As you said, they haven't really been running on all cylinders to this point. Aramis, I guess, is going to go out on a rehab assignment at some point this weekend. He's coming back from a strained hamstring. That would really lengthen this lineup.
Jordan Baker hearing it from the Cubs dugout. I thought that pitch was a strike. He said it was in. Villanueva doubles up in there on Braun. First pitch looked pretty good. That one was off the plate a little bit.
Bounce to third. Valbuena's got to come way in, and the off-balance throw beats Braun.
Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
Lucroy 1 for 2.
He's going to bunt. He's peeking down there. Probably not. Looking at some numbers on Braun. Apparently he's really been taking a lot of heat on the road, right? Because of the whole biogenesis thing. He's been getting booed wherever he goes. I wonder if that's affecting him. So I'm looking at the numbers. He's hitting .338 on the road with .761 slugging percentage.
Holt makes a catch in foul territory.
If it's affecting him at all, it's focusing him even more.
Yeah, we both agreed in spring training we thought he was due for a big year. DL time with a strained oblique, which popped up again recently, but he looks 100% tonight. Pitch to Gomez. Foul strike.
Gomez takes the kinds of swings that in the old days would have earned him some fastballs up under the chin. When a guy swings that hard, you just think, hey, he's too comfortable against me. Got to make him uncomfortable. Uh-oh, we got to get another foul ball down there. She does not. She wants no part of any kind of a share. You want your sister to share it with you? Oh, both out there. This is.
She's okay right now.
She's hanging in there. And then, yeah, she's trying her level best. God bless you. That's great.
Swing and a miss as Villanueva goes 1-2-3, and the Brewers do not score for the first time tonight. 7-2. Or just sitting next to each other, but the youngster on the left with a good deed for the night.
She's not sure now. They're playing catch.
Okay. A lot of other things happening at the ballpark other than just a ball game. One strike on Lake. Estrada coming back quickly. Breaking ball low. So the early games are getting late. Nationals all over the Rangers tonight. 9-2. Ian Desmond is homered. On the bottom of the 8th in D.C. And Washington 2 games under going into action tonight.
Disappointing year last year for the Nationals. High expectations again this year.
We have some rain coming. The roof is closing. Late swing by Junior. Style roof. It is an architectural marvel. Built this roof here. And Lake draws the walk.
Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF.
I was working here in Milwaukee, doing radio and filling in on Brewers television back in the late 90s, early 2000s. This place was supposed to open a year earlier than it did. There was a tragic crane collapse in the building of this ballpark that took 3 lives.
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
3 iron workers. Yeah, it was. Cubs are down 5, but you can't say Estrada hasn't opened the door on a couple of occasions. He has walked the leadoff man 3 out of the 5 innings.
Yeah, that's just, and each time he's done it, he's had at least a 5-run lead. It's a little sloppy. Got away with it in the second, did not in the third. We'll see how it plays out here in the 5th.
Outside now, Maldonado will head on out. Jason Hamill, Willie Peralta tomorrow, Jeff Samardzija, Kyle Loesch on Sunday. Really good matchups on paper. They don't play the games on paper, do they? Lake got a really good jump as Valbuena fouls. So even down 5, Cubs trying to push some buttons here. Probably would have made it without a throw.
Yeah, and I think, it's one of those situations where you're down 5, you want to be careful not to make any mistakes or make any outs on the bases. But if the math, if you're looking at the stopwatch and you see the times to home plate for Estrada and they're slow enough where you feel like, well, this is a pretty easy bag to get, then it's understandable to run there.
He goes again, and Valbuena fouls. CBSSports.com, I just saw a note that the Cardinals reportedly are close to bringing up their top prospect, Oscar Taveras. How about that?
Yeah, well, they just called up the other kid, right?
Grichuk
backup, who'd been up earlier.
49 games. Taveras, who's 21, hitting .325 at AAA.
And the top hitting prospects in all of baseball. The Polanco kid, the outfielder for the Pirates, there's been a lot of talk about when do they pull the trigger and bring him up.
They faked that time, and strike 3. Valbuena's out. Let's see what it was. Yep. Don't always get that call when the catcher's moving, but it looked like a strike.
Yeah, it was a good pitch. It's a pitch that has not been called consistently tonight, but it looked like Baker got it right.
So it brings up Castro. He's walked and struck out. And a base hit to right. He needed that. Just his 5th hit in his last 35 at bats. 2 on with 1 out.
He was committing to go the other way, regardless. In that situation, it's a breaking ball, and he shoots to right field.
Justin Ruggiano, second start since coming off the DL on Monday. Won't be hermetically sealed because the panels are open, but will be under cover in case it rains the rest of the night. And they have heat here. They can warm it up to like 30 degrees above the air temperature, but if it's hot, it's hot. There's no AC in the main bowl.
Yeah. Comfortable
63
night.
outside.
Supposed to be a less than comfortable feeling in the home dugout. Big lead. Look like they're going to cruise to victory here tonight, but the way things have gone for Estrada, he has opened the door, as you mentioned. I'm swinging the bat, and we've got a different ball game.
Well, that's the real reason he's flirting with danger. Is he does give up home runs, and he's giving the Cubs some free runners. 16 allowed, by far the most among all major league pitchers. 2-2. And his nemesis on deck.
And coming into this start, almost 20% of his fly balls allowed have left the ballpark. Just unbelievably high number.
Cleveland leading the Rockies 5-2 as they play the 8th inning in Cleveland. Cargo's gone deep for the Rockies. Cabrera for the Indians. Another 2-2, and it's full 3-2.
The major league average home runs per fly ball rate is 10%. 10% of all fly balls leave the ballpark. It's twice that for Estrada this year.
Runner's not going, and a fly ball hit out into deep center. Gomez tracking. He makes the catch. Lake tags and probably could have made third, but decided to hold. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrates 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Maybe all at once. Visit Cubs.com for details.
Okay, here we go. Here's that matchup again. Wellington Castillo with 4 career home runs off Estrada, 4 home runs in 19 at bats now. The only other major leaguer with as many home runs off Estrada is Jay Bruce. Popped up twice tonight.
Checking on Twitter, we got one tweet that said the Brewers unis kind of remind me of the Zinger cakes. You know, the Hostess
lemon zingers,
vanilla cake with the creamy filling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you could
I would say tapioca.
You could go with the Twinkie too.
Yeah, mustard. You know, yeah, maybe a light Dijon.
Maldonado wants to start over again. Not sure what to do here on 0-2.
Here comes swing and a miss. Estrada's had the upper hand on Castillo and the Cubs tonight. 7-2 Milwaukee.
Brewers banging out 10 hits, scoring 7 runs in the first 3 innings of this ball game. The Cubs have climbed back a little bit, still down 5 though. Olden Wood from the bottom of the order scored, driven in by Bonifacio and Lake. Ryan Braun, as he always seems to do, having a big night against the Cubs. 2 out of 3, scored twice, drove in 2. Ricky Weeks, 2 out of 2 himself with a couple of runs, but a lot of guys in that Brewer lineup getting it done tonight. Start something special with great leases and low financing on a new Honda. Visit shophonda.com or visit your local Honda dealer. 2 2/3 for Travis Wood tonight. 10 hits, 7 runs allowed. Carlos Villanueva's come in, settled things down a little bit. Got out of the third, pitched to scoreless fourth.
Swing and a miss by Davis.
Carlos Villanueva was Marco Estrada before Marco Estrada was Marco Estrada. With this Brewer club, like Estrada, worked out of the bullpen and occasional spot starter. Relies heavily on the changeup, not to the same degree as Estrada does. Not overpowering, but practiced in the art of deception.
Driven deep to left. And right at the base of the wall. Davis on his way to second. Nearly had another home run. He's homered in 3 straight games. He's got a couple of doubles tonight.
A double, then a double play, and now another double for Davis in his 3 at-bats. And just some topspin on this ball prevents it from leaving the ballpark. He took a ferocious swing at it. It's another changeup from Villanueva. This time he sniffed it out, put a good swing on it. Weeks has lost significant playing time to Scooter Gennett. He's bouncing back and having a nice year. In a platoon now where he gets starts against left-handed pitching. Overall, the numbers are good, and in his limited at-bats against righties, he's been fine. He's hitting .333 against right-handed pitching, 10 out of 30 coming into this ball game.
Weeks one around. Mark Reynolds on deck. Here it comes. Sharply hit grounder. Castro can't get it. Davis in. 8-2. Perfect night for Ricky Weeks. He's 3 for 3.
With his base hit in the first inning. That time Carlos did not leave his feet. This time he does. Good effort. Couldn't get it.
Kept their foot on the pedal all night. 5 in the first, 1 in the second, another in the third, 1 more here in the 5th. All right, I got a fun little trivia for you. I mentioned the Indians leading the Rockies 5-2 in the 8th. There is a Cleveland pitcher who has 60 strikeouts this month. The most strikeouts by pitcher in May since Kurt Schilling in 2002. Can you name that pitcher? Schierholtz makes a catch.
Cleveland pitchers. I'm not really strong in Cleveland pitching. Masterson is over there. Salazar.
You're just going to name the whole staff, right?
Trying to,
Corey Kluber.
Kluber, he was going to be my next guess.
Yeah.
Once I looked it up on the internet.
The Indians just tweeted that out. How about that? "12 strikeouts, 1 walk tonight for Kluber." Maldonado. Ball 1.
Yeah, he's striking out 27% of the men he faces. Better than 10 punch outs for every 9 innings pitched. It's pretty good stuff. I have a hard time keeping up with the National League.
Whenever there's a game on TV, I try to watch the AL just because we get to see all the National League teams in person. But,
see, now last time I looked at Cleveland, they were playing pretty good. Now I'm looking at the standings here. They've lost 4 in a row.
Maldonado tweaked something on that swing. 1-1. Bounced foul. We got a tweet from Sarah Flores. She thinks the Brewers uniforms remind her of Dwight Schrute. The office.
Sure.
That's it. I don't even want to know what that stain is. Yeah, that's his color. The short sleeve dress shirt.
Yeah, the short sleeve mustard shirt with the tie.
Slap a Brewer logo on the front, and you got it. Good call, Sarah. Long pause here as Villanueva gets the sign. Served out into left center for a base hit. Maldonado 3 for 3. Throw to third late. Weeks has had a night.
Yeah, too early in the ball game to back off if you're the Milwaukee Brewers. So you get a chance to take an extra base, you take it. Ron Renicky, Johnny Nair, the hitting coach have to be impressed with the approach the hitters are taking, even with the big lead. Willing to cut down on the swing. Great approach by these Brewer hitters tonight. There's Weeks hustling into third base with the head first slide.
Maldonado 3 for 3. Weeks 3 for 3. Estrada bunts, and they're going to add another run. Got to get him out, and they will at first. Sacrifice RBI for Estrada as Weeks scores on the safety squeeze bunt.
Yeah, they can do no wrong tonight. Execution has been outstanding. You see Weeks coming down the line, reading it, sees the ball down, and he just heads on home.
He can't keep his helmet on tonight. Every time he's been on base. He's losing the lid. And he has scored all 3 times he's been on, and it's 9-2.
Trying to wrap his head around this high up and in fastball, and yeah, absolutely, that was a pushback. I don't think Carlos wanted to throw it over his head, but I think he was trying to push back, just throw up and in, kind of state his presence, saying, I know you guys are kicking our butts tonight, but we've got a little fight in us yet.
Changeup strike. Royals beat the Blue Jays again, 6-1 the final tonight in Toronto. Ground ball. Castro can't get it. Throw toward the plate. Not in time. Segura goes to second. Maldonado in. 10-2. I feel like we're watching the same movie over and over and over again tonight.
Unbelievable. Yeah, how many of those ground balls have gotten beyond the reach of Castro? And again, I don't think he can get this one, but it probably would have been worth leaving his feet. With a man on second base, been worth the try to leave your feet. And Mike probably shouldn't throw this one home.
Three runs here in the 5th. We're still not done.
It's like a Timex watch commercial. 10-2. They always set the hands at 10-2.
Right. Pop-up will make the seats.
There was a girl in high school who nicknamed her Timex because as she walked, she had her feet out. Look at hands of the clock at 10-2. The nickname was Timex.
That's how you're supposed to drive, right?
Yeah.
10 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Continuing with the boxing metaphor, if this were a boxing match, you'd be tempted to throw in the towel. But you're not allowed to do that in baseball. You got to play all 9 innings. Good news is it comes after an off day, so the bullpen's had a chance to regroup.
A couple of fresh arms added with Strop and Wright. Castro can't get that one. Here comes Segura. 11-2. Throw back to first. Out there. And
hang on.
Renicke's going to come out and probably challenge this, although do the unwritten rules say you shouldn't challenge ahead by 9?
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I thought he was safe, but we'll get the benefit of a replay, and we'll see if Renicke will challenge it.
He had a good look at it. He was right on top of it, and Braun is signaling the dugout. I would say if he wants them to take a look at it. Still can't tell there. He's a Campos, first base umpire. Boy, he had a great look. I don't know from New York if they're going to have a better look.
It'll be an RBI single no matter what. And they will not challenge. So the inning is over. At the end of 5, it's Milwaukee 11, the Cubs 2.
Advantage of free remote parking and shuttle services on night and weekend games. The remote parking lot is located at 3900 North Rockwell. For details, visit Cubs.com.
(11-2). Schierholtz, Alt, and maybe a pinch hitter for Villanueva. Found back to the screen by Nate. Interesting. I guess there's going to be an app developed, or has been in the process of being developed by Dr. James Andrews and physical therapist who's a colleague of Andrews, Kevin Wilk, to try to help young pitchers avoid injury. So like you pop in your age, it gives you like a program, how many pitches you can throw, it helps you count pitches, tells you about days of rest. All based on Andrews and Wilkes' programs.
Yeah, all those docs, Andrews, all the team doctors, all the orthopedic guys talk so much about how many young arms they're doing surgery on. Obviously, we focus so much on the major league players and their injury problems, but a lot of that, in some people's opinions, and some of these really good doctors, stem from overuse as kids.
Throw like a pro is the name of it.
It's kind of a contradiction in a sense. There's an argument that young players should throw more but pitch less. More long toss, more work on flat ground, but less high stress pitches, less stuff off the mound. Because kids now, they get into select ball and tournament play, and they're playing, in the warmer climates especially, they're playing year round, and we're just not built to take that.
I guess this app will be available not too far off, maybe a few weeks. Fly ball to deep right. Braun is back. It's gone. A home run for Schierholtz, his second of the season, second of the week.
It's been a long road back for Nate in the power department, but we saw signs of it in San Diego. He hit a ball there that probably would have been out of just about any other ballpark. And then he got one in San Francisco, and here he goes down and gets this low offering from Estrada and lifts it out of the ballpark. Number 2 for Nate, number 17 allowed by Estrada.
11-3. Ball 1 to Alt. Chris Coghlan is on deck.
Estrada would probably say, see, those leadoff walks.
Right.
Better than a leadoff home run. Jose Veras will be next.
Estrada's 2-2. Popped into right. Going in a few steps. Braun used to be a number 3 hitting left fielder. He's now number 2 hitting right fielder. Now pinch hitter for Villanueva. It's Coghlan. Chris Coghlan. When you look at what the 2 Cubs pitchers have given up tonight, I think it says as much about how hot the Brewers offense is than anything else. Wood 2 2/3, 10 hits, 7 runs. Villanueva 2 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs.
Yeah, and you see those lines, you figure, well, there's 3 or 4 home runs, but there's only been 1 home run hit. That was by Braun in the first.
They've averaged 3 hits per inning. Golfed in the air. Braun with yet another opportunity. Once again, let's step aside and see what is coming up on WGN. Miller Park, it's all the home team tonight. Game 1 of 3 this weekend. We'll be back here on WGN Sunday afternoon to start the month of June.
Wild one at Fenway tonight. Red Sox and Tampa 4. Red Sox have been ejected. Half their coaching staff pretty much. John Farrell, Torrey Lovullo were thrown out early. Brian Butterfield was then acting manager. He got an automatic ejection after Brandon Workman threw a pitch behind Evan Longoria. Price hit Ortiz in the first.
This has to stem from last week, right?
Yeah.
The last time they met up, the Yunel Escobar situation. Line right to the shortstop. Bonifacio ends the inning. Nate Schierholtz starting to heat up, but fortunately tonight the Cubs are down big. It's 11-3 Milwaukee.
Man, wire to wire for Italian.
Not even close.
No.
Italian, number 3, all the way from start to finish. And those of you in section 235
Running like a man on a mission tonight.
claim your prize.
Something wrong with the mound? Jose Rivera is asking for the ground crew to come out and do a little landscaping. Bears 0-1, ERA of 9.53, 11 ball games. Pitched 5 times since coming off the disabled list back on May 15th. Better of late. Couple appearances so far on this road trip. 2 scoreless innings in San Diego. He was back on the 23rd. That was in a blowout loss. And then on the 27th in San Francisco, he worked a scoreless inning in a 4-0 defeat.
Hey, a reminder for our local viewers following our ball game, the WGN News will follow and on CLTV as well. Dan Roan is live from Los Angeles where the Blackhawks are playing the Kings, and we'll have the updates and all the coverage as the Blackhawks try to get this one to 7 games back here in Chicago. There's a big hole where the landing spot is.
It's always a challenge, you know, different styles of pitchers, different stride lengths, guys that land in different spots out there. And sometimes if you land just off kilter where another guy's kind of digging a hole, you kind of roll your ankle a little bit. And normally you just kind of dig it up with your spikes and stop it down and you're good to go. But maybe the dirt is so hard that it's difficult to do that. So he's asking them to come in and patch it up. Good work right there. I mean, he is getting after it. Watch this. Man, he is just working that. I'm guessing the guy that's putting the dirt down is the senior man on the crew. And the other guys, he just kind of do all the hard work. Got a nice form run. He's driving straight down through.
He's not messing around.
No. Some guys like to use the two-hand approach, but he's just going straight one hand.
Nice job of landscaping, and Veras will continue to loosen.
He's a member of this Brewer club back in 2012. Worked 72 times for them that year. Won 5 games, had a save, pitched to a 3.63 ERA. He's got 3.45. LaCroix, Gomez, Davis here in the home 6th. Will feature a fastball right around 92 miles an hour. Curveball that's been wildly inconsistent for him so far this year. Went on, it's probably his best pitch, and a split finger.
LaCroix takes ball 1 from Veras. 93 on the fastball. On his hands, and he rolls one to the shortstop, Starlin Castro. Throws to first. 1 out here in the Brewers' 6th.
Ricky Renteria hopes to give Castro a day off on Sunday. Monday's an off day for the club, so like he's doing with Rizzo here, coupling tonight's off day with the scheduled off day yesterday, hopes to do the same with Castro, cutting him a break on Sunday and give him 2 days to rest up a little bit. Castro and Rizzo, the 2 guys have been in there. The starting lineup every game so far. They're young, they're durable, but that's a lot to ask. That's the good curveball there. He just buckled him. Watch the front leg of Gomez. Whoop.
Only a little bit outside. It's 2-1.
Mets Phillies 5-5 in the 5th, or excuse me, the 8th. Had 5 on my brain. Dominic Brown with his 4th home run for Philly.
It's over in Cleveland, 5-2 Indians.
They talked about that Boston Tampa game. We talked about all the ejections. I didn't give you the score. It's 2-2 bottom of the 9th at Fenway.
Washington beat Texas 9-2. Worth and Span each with 3 hits. High chopper. It'll be fielded by Valbuena. The throw beats Gomez. Well, on Sunday, we are going to try a meat parfait.
We are?
Oh boy.
No, we're not. What is it? Oh, is that mashed potatoes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm down. I'm good with that. What are we putting on top there? The ketchup?
Stadium sauce, chives.
What, no cheese? Maybe there was cheese at the bottom.
You ever watch that show, Louie? Louis C.K. So this year, he and his brother have this routine. Every once in a while, they go out. They pick 2 different restaurants. They have full meals at both restaurants. So it was Indian food and then a deli. They stuff their faces in
like
an
back
Indian
to back.
Yeah, back to back. Bang bang. 2 meals. It hurts to watch. Because the thought was, well, we're going to start working out tomorrow. All right, but one more night.
One more night.
One more 2-meal night.
Mardi Gras mentality.
The meat parfait would have fit in well.
Yeah. I saw one the other day. This lady, this competitive eater, ate a 72-ounce steak in Texas in like 10 minutes or whatever. And then she ate a second one just because.
6 pounds of steak. The meat parfait. Actually, not 6 pounds. Well, yeah, let's see, 72 times. Well, we'll do it. We'll figure it out.
Deconstructing the parfait.
Oh my gosh. On WGN Cubs fan cam. That is Be Okay by Old Honey. Tweet us your Cubs selfies at hashtag WGN Cubs. We may use them in our fan cam. Here's Rob Wooten.
Strada solid tonight. 6 innings of 3-run baseball. Wooten comes in with a 1-2 record, 2.81 ERA. Those a lot of sliders. Well, the bullpen has been really good this year. Francisco Rodriguez, the closer. Showing a bit of a rebirth. Leading the league in saves. Probably won't be needed tonight. If he is, we got a headline for you.
Quick work of Lake. Josh Beckett pitching tonight, but he will not throw a no-hitter. Facing the Pirates. And Russell Martin with a hit early on. Beckett no-hit the Phillies in his last start. By the way, I screwed up the math. The 72-ounce steak would be what, 4.5 pounds? Or did I say 6?
Is there 16 ounces in a pound?
I messed it up.
All right. She had the second steak, so she got over 6 pounds.
2 72-ounce steaks?
2.
That's crazy. One and one to Valbuena. 11-3 Milwaukee. They led 6-0 after 2.
Yep. Molly Schuyler, Len.
Okay.
Now 1 but 2 72-ounce steaks at the Big Texan Steak Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. She's a competitive eater from Nebraska. Set the record in 4 minutes and 58 seconds. And then it took her almost 10 minutes to eat the second one. What a wimp.
Ground ball base hit.
Five 5'7", 125 pounds.
Wow.
Second knock of the night for Valbuena. Doubled in the third.
Strike to Castro. Oh, 2. Chris Bryant with another home run. He's hit 17. As Tennessee actually lost to Huntsville tonight. It was a 9th inning home run.
It's news when he doesn't go deep.
Starting to seem that way. Picked by Reynolds. And they go around the horn. 5-4 to 3. Stretch time from Milwaukee. Brewers lead 11-3. Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Bottom of the 7th. Veras got 3 ground ball outs in the 6th inning as he faces Ricky Weeks, already 3 out of 3. Single, double, single, 2 RBIs, 3 runs. And it's a ground ball to the shortstop Castro. 1 out. Bernie Brewer always appears to be in a good mood.
Did you ever say to him, wipe that stupid smile off your face?
Inside on a curveball to Reynolds.
Now that would be some creative mascottery if you had a head. If the Brewers were down 11-3 and you changed Bernie's head and it had a big frown.
There's a 3-fingered mascot, it appears. Okay. He has a home here called Bernie's Dugout. It used to be the Chalet at County Stadium.
And he used to slide into a big mug of beer.
Yep. I thought I saw that the sausages, that the 20th anniversary of the first sausage race just recently passed. Some sort of reference to Robin Yount. I was here at the time. I don't remember exactly why they did it. It's kind of part of the deal here. Now people come to expect it and look forward to it every ball game around the 6th. The 3-1 swung through it. Bernie Brewer actually dates back to 1970. First year of the Brewers. That's Wei Chung Wong. Milt Mason, 69 years old, camped out on a trailer above the scoreboard in the middle of that first year here in Milwaukee.
Just on his own, like he
about not to come down until at least 40,000 people showed up. August 6th, that was June, late June. August 16th, 44,000 plus showed up.
And he was the inspiration.
He was the inspiration. Bernie Brewer by 1973. And showed up in the Chalet. There was a temporary retirement in 1984 after the Brewers rebuilt the County Stadium bleachers. Bernie's Chalet was replaced by a sound tower, and then in 1993, by popular demand, back came Bernie. He is on Twitter. And if you would like more information on Bernie Brewer, you probably need to get a letter. That's enough, isn't it? Is that all you need to know about Bernie Brewer?
Well, the idea that he was actually based on a real guy, this crazy fan that hung out there in his trailer on top of the scoreboard, that's good stuff. I was not aware of that. So the rehab of Jose Veras, kind of a three-pronged deal. First, get him out of the big leagues. Went on the DL, went down to the minor leagues, took some time off, got out of the pressure cooker a little bit. Now you bring him back, and he's been working in these low leverage situations, fairly lopsided games without a lot on the line, and he's been throwing the ball pretty well here of late. So then, the next phase, when that man decides, would be to start to use him in more meaningful situations.
Leon Herrera is on deck.
They're very deliberate, takes a lot of time between pitches. Gives us time to show you Bernie Chalet. There it is. And there's signs in the visiting clubhouse. Players are strictly prohibited from climbing up there and going down the slide because guys have tried it. And it doesn't go over real well. The folks here at Miller Stadium, Miller Park.
It looked like an ice cold mug, didn't it?
For liability reasons, they don't want people climbing around up there. You have to be a trained professional mascot.
Popped him up. Castile racing over, and he makes the catch. And the inning is over. 6 up, 6 down for Veras. Yeah, that brings back memories. Bernie's Chalet. Groba with us here on the road tonight. Bob Vorwald is our executive producer. Eric Johnson, our studio coordinator, back in Chicago. As Elian Herrera will come in and play third as part of a double switch. Wei Chung Wong, Rule 5 pick. Hasn't pitched a lot. His manager giving him some work with an 8-run lead.
Everybody, Wei Chung tonight. the tune they play when he comes into the ball game. Yeah, use sparingly. It's an interesting situation they're in because they're in contention. And sometimes it's difficult to carry these Rule 5 guys on a contending club where you want to have all your pieces contributing if you're trying to win a championship. I like this kid's upside down the road.
From the Pirates in the Rule 5. Taitung City, Taiwan. 22 years old. Ruggiano, fair ball. It's going to kick off the wall that juts out there. Ruggiano on his way to second. Braun's throw will be late. It's a double.
Well, I'm sure that's the mantra in the Cubs dugout. Hey, just keep having good at bats. Well, the pitch was out away from him. Didn't try to yank it. Just punched it the other way and was rewarded. Leadoff double. So that pitching matchup we were talking about never materialized. Out west, Wainwright got thumped pretty good. San Francisco, I guess it's in St. Louis, 9-0 in St. Louis. Giants over the Cardinals.
Giants beat them last night.
Bumgarner held up his end of the deal, 7 scoreless, allowed 3 hits, struck out 10. Adam Wainwright tonight, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 7 runs, all earned.
Chad Qualls is on as the Astros lead Baltimore in the 9th, 2-1. Little bobble, but time for Segura to get past Steele. Houston trying to hang on and win its 7th straight. George Springer homered again last night for Houston. Got 7 in his last 7 games. Padres lead the White Sox 4-1 as they go to the bottom of the 9th on the south side of Chicago. Maben and Alonso have homered for the Pods. Tyler Thornburg. Twins beat the Yankees 6-1. It was in the Bronx. Ricky Nolasco got the win.
Here's a bit of good news. Former Cy Young Award winner Frank Viola due to rejoin the Las Vegas 51s. That's a AAA club for the Mets as their pitching coach. Frankie V underwent open heart surgery April 2nd. A scary time for him. Nice to see him back.
Yeah, 54 years old.
Sweet music. Boy, could he pitch. Oh, now.
Can you spell Augenphilology? Got all the words from the National Spelling Bee last night. I couldn't spell any of them, the championship words.
I saw where it ended in a tie.
It did. First time in 52 years. Samardzija would be a good championship word, wouldn't it?
We could play baseball spelling bee.
Chepsinski.
Pokoroba.
I've got Jeff's name down. Had to write it in the book a couple hundred times over the years.
DZIJA, right?
Yep. Mark Grudzelanek, another good one.
Ooh, yeah.
The guys on the score the other day, there was some list of the most misspelled sports names, like in newspaper reports and what have you. Dwayne Wade was the number one because it's D-W-Y-A-N-E. But Torrey Hunter, often misspelled because there are two I's. Torrey. Two balls and a strike on Mike Olt. Hard to get that one wrong. O-L-T. Like Ed Ott.
Yeah, I was thinking Otter might be the easiest of all time.
When you got the job, a good friend of mine, who's roughly my age, remembers you as a pitcher, thought your last name was pronounced Desahayas.
Desahayas.
Darwin Barney on deck.
My name gets butchered all the time. Mr. Deshares?
Deshias?
No R. Deschales? Yeah.
That gets by and allows Ruggiano to get to third.
It's a pass ball.
The 3-2 called strike 3 to end the inning. Bottom 8, 11-3 Brewers. Cubs 3, we started with the roof open. It has been closed for the last, I'd say, about 4 innings. Couple changes now. Darwin Barney in at second. Looks like Bonifacio is in center. Lake to left. And Wesley Wright is on the mound. just off the paternity leave list.
Welcome back, Westland. Congratulations. Harlan Rose, born a few days ago, 0-1-3-18, 19th time the lefty has trotted out there for the Cubs this year.
Leon Herrera, a switch hitter, ball one.
Solid work by Jose Veras tonight. 2 scoreless, no hits, no walks, had a strikeout.
So Jose Bautista tonight threw out another runner at first base from right field.
No way.
Second straight night. Omar Infante hit a blooper down the right field line. He turned his back. He did not run to first. It landed fair. Bautista smothered the short hop. Hit through to first.
Wow.
That's embarrassing for a hitter.
If you don't know where it is, you're better off running.
On the ground, surrounded by Castro. He'll sling it over in time to get Herrera.
Like Castro is looking into the Cubs dugout for a little feedback. It's a little choppy going after that ground ball. Seeing if anybody in there is giving him the business.
Strike called. Gene Segura. 2 hits, an RBI, 2 runs.
Reds up 5-3 over the Diamondbacks. They're in the 6th inning. Out in the desert. Bronson Arroyo pitching against his former club. You know my whole battery mate theory? Mesoraco took him deep.
This is that catchers have an advantage against pitchers they caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mesoraco with his 7th home run. Doesn't have enough at bats to qualify because he's been on the DL a couple of times, but his numbers are awfully good. 348, 7 home runs, 663 slugging, 396 on base.
Bounced up the middle, backhanded by Barney, and he'll just eat it. 3rd hit of the night for Segura.
What's the record for 93 putouts on back-to-back days? Has it happened before?
I'd be shocked if it had ever happened before in Major League history. So here it is. That's just a great play.
Yeah, brain cramp by Infante and a heck of a play by Bautista.
Heads up by the right fielder to see that he wasn't running. Cubs will have to put that on the scouting report because we'll be in Toronto in September. Right under the glove of Castro. Be an error on Starlin.
Trying to backhand and position himself to make a feed to second base, but you got to get the ball first.
Lucroy with 2 on. Houston held on to beat the Orioles 2-1. Red Sox over the Rays 3-2 and 10 the final. So let's see, Boston's won 5 in a row after losing 10 straight. So are they going to claim their season changed when they started yapping at Yunel Escobar?
Yeah, I would think probably. It was a turning point.
They're in the 11th in Philly. Mets and the Phils are tied at 5. Four, 6, 3 to end the inning. Here comes the ninth, 11-3 Brewers. A full line change, it looks like, here for the Brewers. Irving Falou is now playing third. Herrera goes third to right. I'm having flashbacks of March 22nd. Logan Schaefer's now playing center, and you see the pitcher Thornburg.
Feels like a spring training game. Tyler Thornburg.
Overbay, Weeks, Segura, Falou around the infield, left to right. Davis, Schaefer, Herrera, Maldonado, the catcher. Thornburg, the pitcher.
Thornburg broke in with the Brewers back in 2012. Good heater at 93 there. This is a guy who's been compared to Tim Lincecum with that delivery, similar to the San Francisco right-hander.
Fouled off by Barney. Only at bat tonight, just came into play second.
spot starter for the Brewers last year. Thornburg made 7 starts of his 18 appearances, pitched to a 2.03 ERA. Everything this year's been out of the bullpen.
Tap foul. Yank to left. Davis coming over. And he's got it on the run. That's a nice catch.
A little too much hang time from Darwin Barney's point of view. Davis just fine with it and allowed him to run it down. Would have been extra bases, been a nice play by Davis. 1 out here in the 9th.
Outside for a ball. Down the middle that time. Two and one. Lake on deck. Chopper to the shortstop. Got a candy hop. And Segura fired a fastball over there to Overbay.
You got a little something to throw with Segura.
I mean, we've got radar guns to measure pitches. I would love to see who throws the hardest from the different positions. You'd think from short that would be relatively easy to measure.
Be able to put a gun on him. We're getting velocities off the bat now.
Yep. Sean Dunston back in the day is a guy everybody points to.
Yep, Dunston.
Rafael for call. Troy Tulowitzki throws the ball pretty hard. I think one of the prettiest defensive plays consistently to watch is the backhanded play by the shortstop in the hole. Kind of like the Everett Cabrera play we saw a couple of times last weekend, where you basically just get it, throw it.
Yeah. Just sling it across your body.
Yeah, that could be breathtaking to watch when a guy is accurate from that distance. $36,100 tonight. And the fans on their feet here with 2 outs. A 2-2 count on Lake. Jason Hamill, Willie Peralta. The pitchers tomorrow afternoon. Cubs will need to win the final 2 games to go 500 on this road trip. stop up near the Brewer dugout. No play for Maldonado. Lake held.
A rare two-walk night for Junior. Thornburg just reaching back, trying to throw this one as hard as humanly possible. And Junior able to check his swing.
Over Bay, Junior Lake over there first. Where's Mickey Rivers? Duck Creek when you need him.
Billy Ocean.
Did he play ball?
Maybe
the walk-up music. Brandon Beachy,
Larry C.
The 2-0 pitch to Valbuena. 3 balls, no strikes.
This is an interesting phenomenon. It's been around the game for a while now. The standing of the home team when they're about to close out a win. It used to be it would only happen when it was like a close, dramatic game, and then it's kind of morphed into final out regardless of the score. I'm not commenting whether I like it or dislike it.
Just observing.
Yeah, just observing.
It's the catcher going to the mound, and then first baseman joining. Then maybe the right side of the infield, then all the infielders, although that time when against the grain it's just pitcher catcher.
The sense here that Thornburg trying to finish one off in the ninth is just so jacked up. He's just kind of reaching back with everything he's got, and he's not really making pitches.
Back-to-back 2-out walks here in the ninth. And the 0-1 to Castro. Base hit, center field. Lake will score. It's 11-4 now. Here comes Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach.
A lot of meetings in 11-4 ball game, and Maldonado trotting out there, and now the pitching coach. Good at bats here by the Cubs, down a bunch in the ninth with 2 outs. They work a couple of walks, and then Castro chips in with an RBI single.
John Baker will bat for Wesley Wright.
There's now action in the Brewer bullpen. I don't think it's so much that Ron Renicke's afraid this one's going to get away from him, but it may come a point where he just doesn't want Thornburg to throw any more pitches. Veteran lefty Zach Duke, who's been really good for the Brewers.
Ball 1 to Baker. Swing and a miss. Pulled the string. $15 runs on 25 hits combined. Most of the damage done by the home team. Just served out into left, base hit. Here comes Valbuena, 11-5.
Not bad. John Baker probably didn't anticipate getting. He'll likely be the starter tomorrow. Jason Hamill pitching. Pitch moving away from him and just floats it into shallow left.
Walk, walk, single, single. Castillo looking for his salvage. 0 for his first 4. Curveball strike.
Although Rick Renteria may be willing to break that tandem up tomorrow with Castillo having had the off day and then the day before off.
Yeah, good point. Baker catching Jackson the other day. Probably not a bad idea to occasionally mix it up. Just to make sure everybody's caught everybody a fair amount. This should do it. Segura, 2 weeks to end the ball game. This one pretty much determined early as Milwaukee put up 5 in the first. The final score, the Brewers 11, the Cubs 5, and we'll be back in a moment.